All right. Welcome to Unhinged, Unfiltered, and Unscripted, episode 17. And I'm missing the normal co-host, so I have a wonderful fill-in. Her name is Paula.
Hmm.
Um, Paula's part of our wonderful friend group, and her and I are going to have a conversation on the dumb shit people do. This is both male and female
Hmm.
people that we have either lived with, relationship, friends, family, you name it. We've seen it. We're putting it
Hmm.
out there. um, what was I gonna say? Oh, I will start with a positive affirmation for everybody, and then we'll kind of get everything rolling. But here's the positive affirmation. I accept myself for who I am, and I create peace, power, and confidence of mind and heart. I'm going to forgive myself and free myself. I deserve to forgive and to be forgiven, and I am healing and strengthening every day. I thought that
I
was a
like
pretty
that.
good. I like that too.
I
That's
like that.
pretty good. I know that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. I was like, I don't, well, Jen, the other Jen, not me, Jen, the other Jen, she's got that all right there, and I don't have those yet. It's a work in progress, Paula. Work in progress.
Yes.
I'm getting
Work
there
in
slowly,
progress.
but yes. Dot, dot, dot.
Mm.
But, yeah, we'll go that way. So anyways, let's see here. What did we say? Oh, fuck. What were we talking about tonight? Oh, yeah. So, we were talking about, me and Paula while we were on TikTok. And I was telling Paula, because I took my car to go get washed. And I was telling Paula and the other people in the live, I was like, hey, I know that person. They look quite dumb with a pink with a fucking pink shirt wrapped around their head, no shirt on, but they have a pink shirt wrapped around their head and they're outside moving shit. And this is like, I live Central Time, so everybody knows. So what would you say? It was like 6, 7 o'clock my time,
That's yeah, about that. Yeah.
something like
Hmm.
that. Yeah. And I was just tooting around, I was having some Wi-Fi issues, and so I was tooting around so I could, hang out with my people. And I drove past and I saw this, and I made the comment. I was like, that's really kind of weird. The situation that because this person is my ex, and I was like, that's funny because he's living either I, you know, I can't say exactly where he's living physically, but I have an idea. So he's made comments to me that the guy that he's friends with, I'm not going to name any names, the guy he's friends with, his wife is a hoarder. Um, he lives in this shed slash mini garage. He sleeps in there. He can't sleep in the house or won't sleep in the house because his wife is a hoarder. They have 2 dogs. Uh, and he's either sleeping on the couch, and if he can't sleep on the couch, then he's sleeping on the floor with the dogs. And so he sleeps outside in the shed all year long, all year long. And I'm like, that's really strange that you have two guys sleeping in a shed.
Yeah. Probably,
Like,
first of all, she probably doesn't have any room for either one of them in the house.
well, I mean, maybe there's room on the bed. I don't know. I've never been inside the house. I mean,
But
I see
it may be like an army training camp trying to get to the bed, man.
maybe it's like a landmine. I mean, and you see the outside of the house and I'm not saying I'm perfect, okay? But like I don't have shit sprawled everywhere. And I know everybody lives differently and I'm not trying to like downplay it, but like
No, but
at least
it may end up being
organize
like a
it.
half an hour to get to like a 15-foot
But
to the bed.
why? Right, but like he doesn't want to get divorced from her because they don't want to pay the money, which I understand that. You've been married for over I don't know, maybe 10 years, 20 years or something, you know. And if you really don't see her else anywhere else and you guys are just cool living, you own the house, whatever, if it works out, it works out. But man, I would not want to sleep in my fucking shed. There is no way. No way.
No,
No.
that's not truly your living. And to have two guys in there on top of it, it's like, dude, really?
Right, but
I mean,
I think there's other activities going on inside there, which,
I
you know,
really think so too.
I don't, and I'm not saying like, physical well, I mean, they're physical, but not like sexual physical. Um,
Oh man, you got all got needs.
I, I mean,
I
I, I,
mean,
I can't see him doing it, but it's a possibility.
right?
I'm not gonna expose secrets because I know things and I've never told anybody and I'm gonna keep it to myself. But it's one of these things where I'm just like, okay, so you said, and to give a quick backstory, okay, sorry to cut you off, Paula, but
No, you're good.
to give a quick backstory. So this motherfucker left me a year ago. Well, it's been almost a year, right? It's been a year, something like that.
Hmm.
He left me for another woman, right? Well, he moved here, he moved there, whatever. Well, ultimately, he moved back to Nebraska. He left Nebraska and moved to Kansas with this other woman. And now this other woman lives here in the same town that I'm in. She belongs back in Kansas. Don't even get me started on that one. That's a whole nother conversation. So he brought her back and puked. And then he's sitting here, and you guys know, which we've talked about. I've tried being positive. I was trying to be there for him, because he ain't got his own place, he ain't got a vehicle. We definitely know now he ain't got a job
Mm.
that we're aware of. You know, he was down in the slumps, and I tried being the positive person, right? Like I was trying to be. Not saying that I was perfect. I made my own mistakes, but
No,
I
who's
tried.
not? Who's that? I mean, nobody's perfect, you know.
Right, right, right. But he lied, of course, because he's a narcissist. That
Mm-hmm.
that's what he is. We know a narcissist. Doesn't matter if it's male or female. We know one when we see one.
Yep.
So it's like we see these things and we're going through and it's like, man, they just sat here and they lied to us or they did something and now we're looking at them and we're like, wow,
Yeah.
wow, you did all that and that got you where? And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to like throw shade that I'm better because I don't think I'm better, but karma. is not being very nice.
No, no, not at all. And you know, and even like that man that doesn't want to divorce his wife, you know, I I have issues with that. And it's not that I'm like pro divorce, like, oh yes, a marriage is not working, get a divorce. That's not it. It's, you know, when you have two people in the relationship, anybody can flip at any given time.
Oh yeah.
So what happens is yeah, you may be content now and everything may be all hunky dory and he lives here, she lives there and everything like that. And that's all fine and well. Then all of a sudden somebody wants something different. And 15 years go by, 20 years go by, and now you're, you know, close to retirement or close to a, you know, your empire or whatever like that. And the next thing you know, now you have to split it. And of course, yes, it depends upon the state. Some states you say, oh, whatever you brought into the marriage is yours. Whatever she brought in the marriage is hers. And then you got the community stuff. Other states say, hey, look, nope, it's 50-50 down the line. Don't matter if it was before the marriage or not.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
50-50.
Yeah.
So, you know, here you are, even if you have, I don't know, just to say community properties of $1 million or $500,000. Now you don't have that. Now it's half of that because this person decided to change their mind.
But here's
So
my but
to leave yourself that vulnerable.
no. No. I'm
Mm,
sorry. I'm sorry. I know I have a small hoarding issue. Small. Okay.
hmm
But so like there's no way I could live like that. There is no way. Me
And that's the
personally.
thing.
I would
And
have
that's the thing.
divorced him
Do you
because
see it getting better? That's the
free
problem.
and that's the thing. What happens if she all of a sudden passes away? Then what? You're stuck with all that. No. No.
Wait a minute.
It's
It gets even better though. You're not even just stuff with just that. What about, you know, how's she buying all this stuff?
oh.
What about her credit? What about, you know,
Oh,
you got all, because as a married couple, you assume
you
that.
share it. Uh,
So
uh,
I don't know, she's running up credit card because trust me, when I know, like I'm telling you this story right now, I know somebody who makes six figures, okay? And she works two jobs. She's over $75,000 in debt.
oh man,
And she also borrowed from
no.
her 401k because she thought that was a smart thing to do to pay down some of the bills, but then again, it doesn't pay down all the bills. And she's 60 years old. Do you honestly think
Oh,
this debt is going to be paid before she's ready to retire?
no,
Probably not.
it's gonna give, if they have kids, it'll go to the kids.
And, she buys all these clothes. She doesn't, you know, cook at home. She constantly eats out. Where does her money go? Good, very good question. I mean, because the woman easily makes probably about a good $4,000 to $6,000 clear,
Man,
clear a freaking
people,
month.
yeah, people blow my mind. It's like,
So, you know,
first,
you being married to somebody possibly like that, and she possibly passes on. Well, that guess what? Now that's your $75,000 in debt.
no thanks. No, 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 no.
And this is even if you are, you know, living separately.
Yeah,
You're living your debt is your debt. So that's why, you know, it's like, that's just dumb in my book, you know, because
it,
you're leaving yourself so vulnerable
uh-huh.
to certain things. It's like,
Yeah,
why are you doing this?
unless you get it notarized. Now you could legally say go to an attorney and get everything documented. You could.
But here where I live, a separation is not a thing. It's either divorce or you're married. That's
You
it.
know what?
Some states do have
Right.
separation, and you could go and actually, you know, separate. You technically are separate individuals. You're still married, but you know, you list everything down.
Yep.
But my state don't do that.
No. But I mean, like, if they're married, right, and they go to an attorney and get paperwork drawn up, the judge would have to follow that legal document, correct?
Yes and no. Yes and no, because what if this person says, oh, I wasn't in right sound of mind when I signed it?
Oh, that is very true. That is true. See, this is why our brains hurt, Paula. Exactly why our brains hurt. Because it's like the stuff, and I'm not trying to say that we're always right, even though we
No,
are.
no, no, no,
Even
not
though we
not at
are.
all.
No, we are. 90% of the time. I'm joking. Um, oh my gosh. It's just like, what are you thinking? Why would you want to do that to yourself? Like, what, it's like, why would you want to live in a man's shed? Why would you
Why
want to
wouldn't
do
live
that?
on a man's couch
Yeah.
for the
Oh,
last 10 years and not
yeah.
get your own place? I mean, seriously, you make six
Oh,
figures.
but
Why
hold on.
aren't you getting your own place? Or better yet,
Right.
she does own two houses of her own or two condos that were given to her. Okay. Technically they're losing money because whatever she's charging, whatever. So she's not really making an earning, but she could live in either one of those. But nope, she chooses to live on a couch and won't leave.
How do you do that? How do you be like, yep, I'm going to sleep on my ex's couch for 10 years? This is, this is
It
where
makes
I
it
see
even,
myself.
but here's the thing. Like she will post things on social media and everything's all pretty picture. And I can bet you any amount of money, there is a lot of people that don't even know she's divorced because she's
Man.
sure. And she posts her ex on there as well. And it's like, because, they got family and everything like that. That's fine.
Oh,
But
man.
why are you posting your ex on
So,
social media as
so,
like that thing changed? Like,
so
don't get me
she,
wrong. I get pictures from my ex from my kids because that's their father. Okay, fine. I'm not going to sit there and cut things up, but I'm not going to post those pictures because those are just the way I feel is those are just for my eyes only at this point.
oh, yeah, 100%.
Y- I
100%.
mean, and I'm not trying to shelter my kids away from their father. That's just it. But I'm not going to take that picture and say, oh, look at my kid's birthday, the 21st birthday. Here's my ex in the background. No, I'm going to choose one that, just has my kids and is going to be a compliment to them, and if I'm in a relationship with somebody else, well, I'm sorry. Um, hmm that's not really respectful to the person who I'm involved with. So why are we doing this?
Right. And my
You know,
question is, why would you, like, people in general, why would you want to be with somebody or be around somebody you really don't want to be with? Like, I have
couple,
had, go ahead, Paula.
I would say a couple of reasons. One is security. Two is money. And three is, no, somebody doesn't want change. They want their cake, but they don't want to eat it either.
Right. Because I have had people, come to me and complain about their significant other. And I'm like, I can complain about, if I'm with somebody, which I'm currently not. I'm on the single train for life. But like, if you're not happy with your life and it's not changing, why stay? Because they're complaining about their sex life, they're complaining about money, they're complaining about the house, they're complaining about whatever else there is that isn't going right. Okay, so you keep having all these conversations and nothing's changing. Nothing's
Well,
getting.
sometimes it could be just financial. Um, I mean,
It,
that financial rules the roost. And
oh, it does.
especially if the other person is the money maker and you don't have anything, and if you're not working, or you got injuries, or you got small children that you have that you're the homebound person. That's where it becomes the balance board becomes uneven, and that's why some people end up staying because they don't have the means to. Or if they do leave and everything and they do have the means, how is, and they have children per se. I mean, obviously if you don't have children, it's so much easier. But if they have children, then it's also a thing of, well, how do I survive with children on my own?
Right.
Because, also too, just like most of our systems, and I don't want to get into a really big, thing about child support or anything like that. But child support doesn't always cut it because it affects, there's a formula. So it affects,
Yeah.
as far as,
Right.
how long the children are with, how much money the person makes. And if the other person is not making that much money, well, you only may end up getting a couple $100. And in
Right.
today's age, that's not a whole lot of money, but you can't, milk a cow if the cow's not giving milk,
Yeah.
so
Oh, I know that all too well.
yeah. So, I mean, there's a
All
lot
too
of
well.
reasons why people don't leave, or they're like, oh, well, I'm not going to let, so and so, give up all the riches because, I worked all this blood and sweat and stuff like that. Well, guess what? I'm going to get what I'm going to leave, I'm going to, do. I'm going to get that money one way or the other. And if I have to stay here and stuff like that, well, he's going to shower me with all the gifts because I deserve it. So
Oh
sometimes it's
man.
ego. Sometimes it's just plain old ego. It's like,
Uh,
well, I'm not going to let my significant other or spouse get better than me. Oh
oh.
no, I'm going to ride this train
Oh.
until it's
Yeah.
out.
Here we go again with the fucking, or not again, but here we go with the fucking egos, and that I think also plays a huge part in people in general and how they act.
Oh yeah.
Egos. Egos are ridiculous. I'm like, okay, so I know this guy, and he thinks his shit does not stink. He thinks he is God's gift to fucking society. He's God's gift to women. He is, it's so funny. He thinks he is like the ultimate shamboozler. Like, he doesn't think anybody's gonna catch on to his shit. But he does the same thing. Originally, if you don't know who he is, then no, you know, you don't
Mm-hmm.
know. You're not gonna see it. But people who know how he plays the game, oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then when he gets caught, whose fault is it? Not
Mm.
his. I
Right. He
don't like
plays the
I
victim.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. I have been treated poorly. I have I've been, this, I've been that. You weren't around when I was a kid, and all I said was, you're the one holding on to the trauma. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying it's wrong or it's right, but you're still holding on to it.
Right.
I mean, you have to let shit go. You have to grow. If you don't grow, then you are not going to get anywhere in life. And that's the funniest thing, because I laugh. I like my ex, you know, same thing. It's the same thing. He's just in a different part of his life. He still talks to the same people. He still associates. He has not separated himself. And that's where it's like, when you can grow up and be an adult and have an adult conversation and not, those people, Paula, that go into ghost mode? Like,
Mm-hmm.
they're here and then boop, they're gone. And then they come back, sorry, I've been busy. No, I'm just not a priority, which is
Yeah.
cool, which is cool. Don't leave me hanging. I know I'm not a priority, because if I was a priority, you would, your phone is in your hand.
Yeah,
You know,
today's society and technology, there really is no excuse to say you're busy and you
hmm
can't,
I
text the
mean,
other person
right,
or call the other person.
unless you are really at a job, which I've been in a job, where you can't have your phone on you. You can't, unless you really can't, and it's high security, there's
But
no,
there is a certain point in the 24-hour period that phone does enter your hand.
oh, it goes into your hand maybe when you go on lunch break, before you go to work,
But that's
when you
my
get
point.
off
And
of,
how long
yeah.
does it take to get a text out?
Mhm.
Okay. So yeah, so that's, a pretty dumb thing to do because you can say that all you want, but if you go and you check your phone, you know, there's doesn't take that long to write, "Hey, I'm thinking about you. Sorry I was away from the phone all day. Hope we could talk." There's nothing that's going to take more than 30 seconds for you to send even a text over.
Right. And just say, "Hey, uh can I set up a time with you to have a conversation about this?"
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
the communication part. And to be honest with you, Paula, last week Jen and I just did a podcast on communication. We just talked about this last week and how people in general don't like to communicate, but we know they can.
Well, the lack of communication honestly make people dumb
Take it.
because the fact of it that if you don't have the communication, then you start assuming. You
Yep.
start assuming, then you're now, making scenarios that may or may not be true.
Very
Then you
true.
get inside your head.
Yep.
Okay. And then you may act out and do dumb things,
Yep.
whether, I don't know. Oh, well, she must be cheating. Well, I'll just go get, my person and find out, well, she wasn't really cheating at all. And here you are now. Well, too late after you just basically did the deed, um, things like that. Or, well, yeah, he or she's, working like, so you might be cheating on it, which don't get me wrong, does happen. But if you start assuming stuff, not only are you basically pushing the relationship to go that way, but you are also putting a lack of trust and everything, down the road. And those are hard things to overcome,
Oh,
so,
yeah,
you
100%.
really need to act really smart, instead of acting dumb,
Oh
or
God.
acting like a child,
Good
or
luck.
assuming things. Because
Yeah.
remember what the first three letters of assuming is: ASS. Do I need to go any further with that?
No. No. And
I mean,
right. And that's the thing, like we talk about common sense and having just common decency with people and just being a good human. You don't have to like somebody to just have good manners. If you don't
yeah,
like somebody, don't entertain it. If they say hi, just say hi and walk away. Or
right. And
don't
even if
say
you're uncomfortable, you can still be a good human.
right. I mean, the thing is you common, I shouldn't say common, just words in general. People would
Right.
rather sit in the stupidity of conversations and talk down on people. And I understand people, we all do it. We're all guilty of it. I'm guilty of
Hmm.
it. I'm sure you're guilty of it.
Oh yeah.
We have our moments. But why is it that we have some people just have to be so petty to fucking just sit there and keep something going and going and going and going and going?
You just said it right there. Keep going.
Hey,
They don't let go. They
they
don't let
don't
go.
let go.
Letting go is probably the most hardest thing. I mean, I'm dealing with it with my own relationship, of letting things go, and not rehashing things.
Right.
Um, and I really have a hard concept when you do sit down and you do talk and you think, okay, we finally got a solution. All right, this is what we're going with.
Yep.
And a couple months later or something like that, it comes resurfaces. And I'm like, wait a minute. I thought we put this to bed. I thought we let this go. Oh no. I'm thinking about this. Well, okay, that's fine, but when you close a door, the door should be remain shut at that point. You
Yep.
know, bringing up the past is not healthy.
Nope.
Um, and pointing the finger is not healthy either.
Nope.
And whether or not you did something wrong or not, if you say, okay, we're going to move on, or yes, I forgive you, or okay, yeah, I'm glad we talked, that's to where it should end at that point.
Oh,
You know,
100%.
and
You-
letting go. I mean, I'm not telling you to forget. That that is another animal. But there are some things like in forgiveness or something like that. Sometimes it's not the person that you need to forgive. It's sometimes you have to forgive your own self. And
mhm.
sometimes your forgiveness is not really warranted by the other person,
Nope. It's to do it for yourself,
you
you
know?
know?
So, whatever it may end up being, you know, if you choose to be in a relationship, then you also choose to put some things to bed and leave it on the shelf entirely and never bring it up again.
Right.
Because then there are times that in my own life, I feel like a hamster wheel that I'm like, we're back on the hamster wheel again.
Yep. I
Why?
feel that.
Why?
Yep. I
Why? Why?
feel,
Why are we doing
yep.
this again?
Right.
You know,
And we thought it was a dead issue, but it resurfaced.
it resurfaces.
And,
Exactly.
and that's where multiple occasions of insecurity, trauma, second guessing, assuming, that's where all these things, they just don't come back. It makes it worse.
Yeah, it makes it worse. It actually puts another notch in your belt that you
Yep.
didn't really
Yep.
want.
And
You
that's
know.
just, and again, people in general, it's like nobody wants to be like, hey, let's just be honest. Let me tell you in a adult manner, this is how I think, or this is how I feel. Have say something, you know, or think of healthier ways to let somebody know what's going on. If you're, let's say, you are an alcoholic, or you're a drug addict, or you have any other addiction, or some other shit's going on, if you can't use your words, write it down. But you and I both know that, when somebody says something, or if you and I say something and we're like, we're not going to do that again, and we, make amends with it, and that door is shut,
Hmm.
we don't open that door back up. We leave it
No.
alone and walk away from it, and that is an adult thing to do. Now, let's say we want to open that door back up. That door doesn't get opened back up unless all parties are in agreement.
Right.
And
And you can't move forward in your relationship. So
mm,
it's not even, you know, rehashing things. It just brings you right back to where you started from, or brings you right back to when the incident possibly happened.
yeah,
So you just like whatever, you lost 6 months, you lost a year, you lost 5 years, whatever the case may be. In my instance, I got an issue that is going on for 15 years. I'm about over it because
and
you only can go so much with it after 15 years. It's like,
right, and that's where we as people, we do have the right to our own choice, but we also have to make decisions that are for our greater good. We can't do them right away, like sometimes we want to, but when the first opportunity arises and we can make that choice, that's something that we can choose to do for
right,
ourselves. Because, everybody deserves to be happy. Everybody deserves to, live the life that they want to, as long as it's in a positive manner and not hurting anybody, or, anything.
right,
You know, I, you and I, even though I know I'm younger than you know,
Hmm.
there's things that you've seen, there's things that I've seen, and we both
Right.
know that there are a lot of things that we're just like, what the fuck was running through your head when you made that decision?
Yeah. What make you wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to do this, and you thought, yeah, I'm going to do good.
Yeah, and then it turns out really bad, and you're like,
Like, well, that was a hot mess.
um, so let's
Now what?
think of right, and that's what I'm saying. Like, what the fuck were you like? Did you have this planned out? Did you write it down? Did what did you do before this popped into your brain? Because I know this wasn't just well, it could have been a spurt of the moment. I mean, it could have been.
Yeah, it could have been.
But still, it's just your brain. Like,
And like you even say with age, it doesn't matter what age you are, because you could be young, old, middle age, senior citizen, or
oh
something
my
like
God,
that.
there's 40, 50, 60, 20, 30. It doesn't matter. They all do it.
Doesn't matter at all, and it's like, I don't know.
It hurts my brain sometimes to be like, you are, let's say, 50 some years old and you're still running through life and you're still causing problems, or you don't understand why this is going on in your life, and you don't understand why you have, you know, all these issues, and it's like, look at what the fuck you're doing.
Because
Look at what,
people fail to realize that we create our own monsters.
yep,
We are the creator of our own monsters. Whether we really want to realize that or not, and this goes on both sides, whether or not you are the person, creating it, or you're the one hampering it and enabling it,
hmm
you know, and people don't understand that. Just in a sense too, um, like you're raising your children, and you raise your children a certain way, and then what happens? Nana comes over or grandma comes over and spoils the kids rotten.
oh God, yes.
Okay, who created that?
Nana.
Nana did. And then what happens when they go to your house, whatever?
Oh,
Or
they're
because I mean, it's like, well, we could do this at Nana's house, or we could do this. Well, you're not at Nana's house anymore. You're
right,
in my house.
right,
You know. So once again, you're creating the monsters, because it's like, they're allowed to do this over here, but they're not allowed to do it over here. Well, sorry, then go to Nana then.
yep.
You know.
And
I mean,
even
I got that, especially like when my kids went up to Jersey every Sunday to visit their nana. Well, every night we had popcorn every night. Why can't we have it here? Because you're not in Nana's house.
right,
Once again, you know.
yep. And that's the thing that even young kids, I don't think, they always, at a certain age, they don't understand the concept that just because it's done there doesn't mean it's going to happen here. And that's where parents and grandparents have to have those boundaries. And
Hmm.
I understand what you're saying when it comes to, like, doesn't matter if you're a parent or a grandparent.
No,
The point is that you need to be on the same page as, you know, the other adults,
goes
because
right back
these
to your goes
right
right back to communication.
yep, because I've seen it with my own two eyes, and it's happened to me and my kids. I say one thing and somebody else goes behind me and does something completely different.
What the bottom line is, it really comes down to, very simple basics of of things, communication, um, letting things go, problem solving, um, to where relationships don't become dumb. You know, people think that, having a relationship or having a friendship or anything like that, there's still work to be done.
Oh,
You don't just show up and say, "Hey, you're my friend. Hey, you're my husband. Hey, you're my boyfriend." There's work to be done. And that's where, a lot of times people fail. And I also do think that because we are in society, that a lot of things are throwaway. You got disposable, silverware, disposable
yep,
plates, even disposable marriages, even disposable relationships.
yep,
Back when I was growing up, because I am a little bit older, but not, not by much, but still, even, our parent or our grandparent, when people got married, they were married. There was no such thing as divorce. And if you were divorced, oh my God, what a stigma. You were embarrassment to the family. Nobody's going to talk to you anymore or whatever. Now, as long as you have enough money, I'll just go get a new wife.
yeah,
I'll just go to get a new girlfriend, whatever the case may be, because nobody wants to put in that work. And
nope,
then, in order to get out of a relationship, then all this dumb stuff comes involved and stuff like that, the whole 9 yards. And it's like, why? Why did you start this to begin with? Why do we do this? So,
right,
so I think that has a lot to do with it, because we are an instant gratification. Well, I can get what I want. I can, if I mean, for the most part, if you want to watch a movie from 1990, you probably can go and, Google it. You may have to pay maybe $3, whatever, or you may be lucky that it runs for free on free TV or Paramount, or maybe one of the things that you signed up for, and you can watch it. Boom, there you
right.
go. It's in gratification. Oh, I want to watch The Breakfast Club. Okay, well, you could probably Google it. Hello, there it is. You know, so, you got all that instant gratification going on. And these are the why you got also some of the dumb stuff. Oh, I want this, because they know, they see point A and they see point C, but they don't know how point B works and how to maneuver to get to that point C. So that's where, you get your dumb decisions. That's when you get your dumb, thought process comes in, and then of
Uh,
course you got greed, ego,
uh,
all the stuff that you got for
and
a
yep,
psychologist could probably talk
yep,
to you about.
yeah, and that's where more dumb decisions come from.
Dumb
And
decisions, because,
yeah,
I want.
oh, yeah, it's all about me. It's the me syndrome, or the
Oh, the,
or
the, the, the three syndrome, the me, myself, and I,
yes, yes, and
the
it's
three
only
me's.
for, yep, and it's only for me and
Hmm.
me and me. And
Hmm.
we've talked about this, and we know that people don't like me, people stalk me, people let me live rent free in their head, because whatever it is that they sit here and they watch me, or they see me doing something, and they're like, "Oh, well, hey, she's over there being all happy. I'm gonna ruin her day."
Or
Instead of,
successful.
yeah, and instead of being like, "I am sick and tired of wasting my time on this. This does not serve me a purpose. I'm gonna walk away and leave it the fuck alone."
Or just be a human being and say, you know what? I'm happy for her.
Yeah, you don't have to allow people to sit at your table, but you
No,
don't have to
you don't.
wish them negative either. I
And you don't
forgive
have to,
you.
and you don't have to be there either. You don't have to
Right,
stay there.
right. Just,
I mean, just as you got opportunities to end something, you have opportunities to also walk away. You have
exactly.
opportunity, you have the opportunities to start something new. you have an opportunity to end something old, or pick up something old. You have opportunities. So the same
Right.
opportunities that you think that you have, that whatever relationship doesn't work or whatever, you still have those. You're just not
Hmm.
implementing them.
Right. There's a saying, you can forgive people and you can let it go, but
I
you're
do
not.
think that also a lot of people think the grass is green on the other side, and then when they
Oh
get
God.
when they see that grass is not being mowed or is brown or whatever,
Oh
and they
yeah,
think,
and it's dead or whatever the case is, and it's like, man, again,
why did I leave? Why did I go to
yeah,
the other
or
side?
right,
And then
or
they
it
try
could,
to get you back or
yeah,
whatever, and it's like,
I'm sorry. I should have known better that it wasn't okay, and uh, I made the bad decision. I should have put you and the kids first, and some other fucking sob story, some other
mhm.
bullshit, just for them to get what they want so they can level up. It's
I
not for the greater good. It's not for both parties.
I really do think that people forget um that whether it's friendship, whether it's brother and sister, whether it's husband and wife, boyfriend girl, it doesn't matter. When two people come together, you two are both individuals, and then
Yep,
you become a unit.
yep,
You got to respect the individual.
yep,
People do need time for themselves. People do have interests that may not interest the other partner or the other person involved. You got to respect that. So either you got to, either join it with a fake face, or, say, or maybe end up finding you do like it, you know, but there's still some individuality in every relationship that has to be nurtured. Self-care, whether it's a bubble bath, whether it's a mask, there is still some certain things that we do as individuals. And I think that when we become that unit, we just don't respect that. We forget about that. We forget about the other person's needs. We even forget about why we even came together with this other person. Oh,
yeah.
I like their race car collection, or I like, the fact that they went hunting, or, oh yeah, they used to do arts and crafts and stuff like that. And we used to go to arts and craft shows together. And then all of a sudden they become a unit, and like, oh, well, I don't want to do that anymore. It's
Yep.
like they wooed you in a dating phase to say, hey, oh, yes, I like this, and this. And now all of a sudden and that now becomes a problem in a relationship.
Oh, hugely. And it is very common. Very
Hmm.
common. And, and that's the part that, people just respect. Just give respect. And you don't
Respect
have,
and kindness.
right. And the respect isn't just given to that person. You're respecting yourself. If you have to lie, cheat, steal, do anything that's negative towards somebody else.
Then you become that dumb person.
Yep. And eventually it becomes a really big problem if you don't change your ways, and it doesn't
Well,
just become your problem. You're also creating that problem and trauma with somebody else.
it's not really necessarily changing your ways. I think it's more either when people come together, they're blind, and they only see what they want to see. Because I really do think that people are who they are at the core. Can some things change? Yes, some things can change. Because, because we as humans adapt to the environment, no matter if we're living in a hot climate or a cold climate, we adapt.
Yes.
I really think that it's possibility of, not being ignorant, and
To
really
what?
looking at the whole picture versus just part of the picture, or the picture that we so choose to see, or
Yeah.
the one that we want to introduce to our families to, or
Good.
friends to, you know. Um, I think that's where it comes down to be. And people get upset when the person doesn't change, because I think that was always there. I just think that we were just ignorant to not seeing that part.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then, like I said, respect, communication, it all comes down to why people do dumb things
It baffles me. It
and why
really
people
does.
don't grow up. And, some people do not grow up. They just don't.
They don't.
You know, um, it's sad to say, even with my daughter, and it was a text that really bothered me. Um, because she's having, issues. She always has issues with her father and everything like that. And, she never really got the respect from her father. And, she said, I'm glad that dad changed in some ways, and in some respect, in some aspects, as a 25-year-old woman, she does get some respect. But there are certain times that brings her right back to when she's 7 years
Yep.
old and she's still dealing with the 7-year-old dad.
Yep. I feel that.
And that's sad. I don't wish this on my daughter. Um, but, it is what it is. So
It
that's what I'm
is.
saying. I don't think people 100% change. They can adapt, and you guys can come to an agreement,
And
but
grow.
change has got to be within, and the person's got to really want to do it and and need to keep up with it.
Right.
But the core does not change. Core does not change at all.
No, I agree. It doesn't. But people can learn and adapt and grow. Not saying that they have to completely do a 360 unless,
No.
they're a very unhealthy person,
Well,
but
a 360 probably means you probably should never been in that relationship with that person. If you're asking for a totally 360, and I'm not talking about, people who are in addiction and stuff like that. I'm not talking about that. But if you're talking a total makeover, you shouldn't probably been in a relationship with that
well,
person to begin with.
and that person probably shouldn't be in a relationship, period,
Yeah,
at all with anybody because it's not going to be one person that's going to get hurt. It's going to be multiple, you know.
yeah.
I
And,
mean, it's just
I mean, I personally try to be more of an asset than a liability.
right.
If that makes any sense. I want to be able to bring something to a relationship. Not everybody can do this 24/7. I'm not saying that. I mean, sometimes we are, because sometimes we may need something, and then we need help. So sometimes, it could be a 20/20/80 kind of relationship one day. Next day it could be a 50/50. Next day it could be 100% 0%. It depends on the day. But,
Right.
you really need to be more of an asset to somebody and enrich somebody's life than be a liability.
A
And
hundred percent.
I'm not saying causing problems, because that's not it. But like if you have in a case like with a hoarder, okay, well, you got to take ownership of it, because hoarder obviously is a disease, obviously, and it is something, that affects, your brain and your mind, and for you to be that way. But also the outside of that, as we talked of earlier, is the other part that it affects too, is not only the home life but also the financial life, because, well, how are you affording all this stuff? So
Yeah.
there's multiple layers that come with certain things that, like I said, 360 is one thing. Coming a 180 and trying to, get healthy, that's another story.
Oh,
You know,
100%. 100%.
you know,
I
um, so yeah, I mean, that's something, that a lot of these conditions have multiple layers with, and, you know, nobody really wants to put trauma on anybody. Nobody really wants to, at least I hope, anyway, and nobody wants to, hurt anybody. Sometimes some people just can't help it.
Mhm. Nope. And they keep going with the vicious cycle. So
Yeah, the
again,
vicious cycle. Hmm.
yep. So it's just more. It just adds more and more. You know. I
Most
mean, we
definitely.
all we all live through things in our life, and that's where the the lesson itself comes in that we as people need to recognize and be like, do I really want to keep this going, or do I just want to be like, I'm done, you know?
And I have to admit too, being a little bit older than you, um, the baggage gets much greater as we get older. And that's something too, that you have to really think about, whether or not you really want to be in that relationship, and when the dumb stuff's coming in.
Mhm.
Because a lot of times history repeats themselves. And if you're coming in with a person with baggage, and that person, I don't know, had multiple relationships, multiple marriages, something like that, chances are, not all the time, but chances are something is going to dribble into your relationship from those old
Yep.
relationships. Um, Good, bad, or indifferent. Some things are great, some things aren't. But, you know, you really got to really get things with a fine tooth comb, and really be willing to accept or not accept. And what side does the pendulum sway? How much weight do you got on which side? The good or the bad? And there's a lot of times that, this is where you can make the dumb mistakes, you know, because you don't see, or you don't want to see, like I said, all that stuff that was already there. But, when two people especially come into either a second relationship or a second marriage or something like that, once again, letting things go is a big issue, because that person is not the same person of the person who caused you harm to begin with.
Yep.
So, yeah,
Good word.
I
Good
don't
word.
know what to say on that, on this matter, but
I mean, and,
kind of,
and and no, I understand what you're saying. I understand completely. You know, I really do,
yeah.
and we all. Well, I hope that we all can grow and become better people as we get older. We never stop learning. And
Oh
knowledge
no.
is knowledge is power. Take all the knowledge, even if it's not something, you know, that you're familiar with, or that you're always, or maybe want to interested in, you know, because if you speak on something that you don't know anything about, you're not going to look very smart.
No, you're not. You're definitely not.
No,
And the one thing too is that no matter how long you're with a person, you could be with somebody for 5 minutes or 50 years. There's still going to be something about that person you don't know about,
no,
or you didn't, or you find this new thing about this person. I mean, think about this. Everybody knows the Golden Gate killer that happened in California, kind of like
right?
Ted Bundy and stuff like that. Even Ted Bundy, for that matter, or Jeffrey Dahmer. They all had, families.
Yep,
They but meanwhile, they did all these heinous stuff.
right.
Like I said, you don't necessarily know a person 100%.
No, and this, when speaking of Ted Bundy, or even Charles Manson, or Adolf Hitler, something like they're smart. Yeah,
Oh
they
yeah.
got They got caught, but they're smart. They know how to, they knew how to, quote unquote, maybe twist or manipulate the situation long enough to where they got away with it, you
They got
know?
away with it, and they made people feel comfortable to go with them.
Yeah. And that's the scary part.
Oh yeah,
And
that's the scary part.
yeah, and it's getting more familiar when you have trafficking going on.
Oh yeah. Oh
It's
yeah,
very
most
scary.
definitely.
Very, very scary.
Yeah, very scary.
Uh,
So,
it's,
you know,
yeah. You
it's just the
can't,
way life is.
it is, and it's just growing. You know, the internet, I mean, the internet is wonderful, but it's also becoming a very large negative, you know?
Well, when I was growing up, and this is probably going to be an old saying, you know, make sure you lock your doors because the strangers are outside. As long as you're in your house, you're safe. Okay, but with the internet, the strangers are already in your house behind closed doors.
Yep.
You're not safe, especially
No.
with all this technology. I mean, you got, things listening to you and stuff like that. Who's to say somebody's not hacking into anything?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people with extra baggage that unfortunately may have molded somebody to a certain way and could actually harm you. Um, it's unfortunate, but we already letting the strangers in our house, in a way. I mean, even to the fact of, once again, I have to admit, I do find this somewhat dumb. Like, people who would go and say, "Hey, I'm out. I'm going on vacation in 14 days." Well, with today's internet, hello, I could probably, if I know your name, probably your age, maybe even a couple of family members if I talk to you or something like that, or if you posted that on your Facebook page or anything like that. Oh, goody! They're going away in 14 days. They're going on vacation on a cruise, something like that. Nobody's going to be at their house,
Yep.
you know. Or I even had a childhood friend that was making a comment of how a package was sent to her, and the person put, I kid you not, they put like something like 30 stamps on this box to get it to her. Yes, that was funny, but in the same instant, once again, here's the dumb part, she also posted the whole entire thing, which basically also gave her a home address on it.
Oh no.
So these are, dumb things, or, somebody's posting, food or something like that. And, I'm at dinner and stuff like that and such and such. And you're like an hour away. Oh, goody. That gives me that much time to go to your house. You know,
Yep.
dumb. Why are we doing this? Why are
Yeah.
we posting most of our lives on social media? And say, "Hey, look, I'm here, I'm there, whatever." Um, that is to me the ultimate dumb. Because not only you're inviting somebody, a person who obviously don't know, that may end up hurting you, or the very least take everything that you worked hard for, to my house. Um, but why are you showing everybody, like even selfies, like you take at the house? You honestly thinking people are looking just at you? People are looking behind you to see, oh, look, they have that nice green TV back there. Oh, look, they got a nice curio cabinet of collectibles back there. That's what they're looking at. So, you still there?
Yes. Sorry.
Okay. Didn't know if
I
you
had
didn't know.
no. I had to put my earphones down for a minute. Um,
Okay.
Jen will
But
fix
yeah.
Jen will fix this part. But no, I get it. I really do. I wish. Is there a smart button that we can push?
Oh, like a Staples button, like that was easy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Can we get one of those and be like, oh, I see
I
it.
have to admit, the
Boop.
internet sort of made us dumb.
It did.
Made us smart, but made us dumb in the exact same instance. Because yes,
Mhm.
it does bring a lot of people together. It does bring, the world together and stuff like that. But at the same time too, we are actually jeopardizing our own selves and our own safety of our own home and everything like that for a picture or a post. I mean, because even like some of these people who are saying too, like a lot of our photos, and if you look on it, has like a date, a time, and a location. And there was something I was reading. I wasn't sure I was reading or watching or something like that. But mom innocently was posting, pictures of her child at the playground or school or something like that. And this person ended up figuring out her schedule of what she was doing on an everyday basis and knew where she was. And I think they end up trying to kidnap her child because of it, because of these pictures. And it's sad because, the internet is so more far advanced than our laws are. So that's another thing that, is not, you know, um, smart to do.
Right.
People got to really start thinking about what they actually posting.
Oh, they don't
And
though.
no,
They don't.
well, you know what? Everything is more of a popularity contest.
Oh,
Oh, look at me. I want to get this many likes. Oh, look at me. I got this many followers. Oh,
I'm
look at
over it.
me. Look at me.
Yeah.
And that's good if I guess you're an influencer and stuff like that. But you also got to think about safety, and you also have to take on too the haters. Those are yours.
Uh huh.
I mean, like I said, you created your own monster. You put yourself out there. You also have to take the heat and the backlash because unfortunately, you got to get people who are jealous of you, people who like, oh, like that purple color on you, or how can you be with that man, or you live in that house, or why are you going on vacation by yourself? Where is your significant other? Like everybody's got to question every step that you take, but unfortunately, once again, that's another monster you created. So, you know.
Some people don't own their own shit. That's how it goes. They make
Well,
it, but they don't own it.
as an old saying, history always repeats themselves.
Yep.
And if
Until
you
you.
look on the board as well as history and stuff like that. I mean, look at World War I, World War II, Vietnam. It's all the same thing all the time. Even right now with the wars that we got, people. What do people fight over? People fight over money and land. That's it. That's all the time. And what do people fight over even here? Money and land. I mean,
Yep.
that's even what a divorce is really all about. Money and land.
Yep. Yep. Because they want more.
Well, they may have got a house. They don't want this other person wanting it, or somebody's going to buy the other person out, or they may have multiple houses. Money and land. That's what rules the coos. The rooster house. I mean, that money makes the world go around. And society has made us to believe that unless we own things, we don't matter. And that's where another dumb concept comes in.
Yep. Fucking nuts. I'll say that. Well, I think for this one episode, we'll have to record another one because I got more stories.
Oh,
Um,
I bet you do.
oh, I do. But I will end this for tonight on our episode 17. I do also want to let everybody know, there is a full moon coming. Is it next week, Paula?
I think it's
Yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah. Next. Yep. The
This
21st.
coming Sunday. Hmm.
Yep. Um, so please don't forget, put your crystals outside. Or you
Your
can,
intentions.
yes, good intentions.
Good intentions.
And, or you can do the sun if you choose to charge your crystals by the sun. I like charging
Don't
mine.
forget to make some moon water.
Oh, yes, and moon water. That reminds me, I need to do
Moon
You
water.
should,
Well, you could just take a bottle of water you get from Walmart and just stick it outside. Just throw it out in
you
your
can,
lawn. There you go.
but, yep, but don't forget, you got to bring it in before the sun comes up.
Technically, yes and no. I mean, if you want feminine energy, yes. If you want masculine energy mixed in, you can leave it in the sun. It's not really going to 100% matter.
Right, right. You make a
But
valid
it's
point.
depending upon what you're using your moon water for.
Yes, I agree. So, everybody, stay blessed and stay positive. Oh, I guess I should do, here, I'll do this real quick. Because I don't think you have Oracle cards, do you, Paula?
Yes, I do actually have oracle cards. I have oracle and tarot cards.
Oh, look at you go.
Hmm.
All spiffy.
But I don't
Well,
think I have oracle cards like you. Like I do have a moon deck, which I do
ooh.
like. Yeah, it's called Moonology. I do like that, and
Oh,
you can read on it on that one as well. And that one I do like. I love the moon. So and um I always feel connected to the moon.
right. Let's get one card for the night, shall we? See
All right.
what we get. What are we going to get tonight, Paula? What? What do you think it's going to be?
I don't know what
Uh,
spirits want us to know.
oh,
That's usually how it runs.
courage. We got a
Mm,
lion. Courage.
that's pretty fitting.
It is. I think it was very fitting for our conversation tonight. Well, that's just me though. So,
Yep.
courage. This card represents courage, will, and determination. It will be through dealing with a new set of obstacles that you will make your most significant leap forward. We learn little from times of ease. The peaceful moments in life reward us for the hard work we've done. But those easy times don't give us the opportunity to show our perseverance and strength of character. You have what it takes to see the situation through the end. Courage evolves and it can grow into compassion, patience, and forgiveness. For yeah. I think I put too many S's on there. Nevertheless, alongside the hard times in life, we can still see the joy and the present for all the goodness coming our way. That's a fucking bomb ass card.
Yes, it is.
I have not had that one come out at all. I have not. That one out of my Oracle deck has not came out. So there's a significance there. I'll say that.
Yeah, it's significant. You know, like I said, it takes courage to let things go. It takes courage to move on. It takes courage to look past things, to forgive things. So yeah, it's a very fitting card for
Very
what we're
fitting.
talking about.
Right? I agree. Well, thank you, Paula, for filling in and
Thank you
enjoying
for
the,
having me.
yeah, no problem. Maybe next time we can, bring some other of our fellow weirdos on board and we can turn this into, their thing. Next time we come on, they won't
Yep, that would
be
be nice.
they won't be on cloud nine. But anyways, thank you to all that are listening, and I hope you have a blessed night and
Love, light,
stay
and love to all.
right, stay unfiltered, unhinged, un what's the other one? Now I forget.
Unscript.
Oh yeah, see, this is where I told you I was